Hey there, South Mississippi. Let's talk today about an Alberta Clipper. Now, this is the system that is moving across the Midwest, producing a lot of snow right now, and it's also the same system that's going to bring us even cooler temperatures as we go into the weekend. So let's talk about that. And first, we're going to start by looking right at the satellite and radar as of right now. And you can see here that where it's currently located is very close to the Great Lakes up just in the northern portions of Iowa. And you can see it's moving very quickly. You can see a lot of the snow there on the north and the east side of it, and the cold front over on the west side. You can see it's very dry there on the west side. These Alberta Clippers typically have very dry, very cold air moving down on the west side of it, and that's exactly the type of air that's going to be arriving here in South Mississippi this weekend from this very quick moving front. Now, let's talk about what these usually are. Now, they get their name, Alberta Clipper, from where they form. They start up in the mountains in Canada, in the very southern portions of the Canadian province known as Alberta, and they very quickly move down into the Midwest and then eventually into the western coast. Now, they move very quickly. You can see there on the satellite and radar, the center of it already moving very quickly from northern Iowa into portions of eastern Iowa already. And as these typically move across the Midwest, they bring a number of different threats to the Great Lakes region. Of course, most notably is the very heavy snow that moves along with these systems. Even though the snow doesn't last very long, well, you can see there many areas getting up to 6-7 inches of snowfall just in a matter of hours as the system very quickly moves from north to south. Also on the west side of this system, very gusty winds, both North and South Dakota, as well as portions of Colorado along that western side of the fronts do get winds to about 30 to 40 miles per hour, and gusts even higher than that. Now, as the system continues to push to the south, you're going to see that cold front spread out and all of that very cold, dry air move very far, often making it all the way to the coast like it is expected to do this weekend. 30s and 40s arrive all the way into the coast early this weekend. Teens and 20s for the Great Lakes areas, even as far south as portions of Kentucky and Tennessee. And that very cold, dry air means that we're going to be seeing those morning temperatures in the 30s. Several of us here in South Mississippi could even see some frost this weekend, especially if you're further inland, possibly temperatures arriving very close to freezing, if not right at freezing. So once again, this weekend, during the early morning hours, it's going to be a good idea to bring those sensitive plants inside. And you also want to be sure to take any other cold weather precautions. Thankfully, we're not seeing a hard freeze or anything like that, but of course, if you're further away from the coast, temperatures could be right at or just above freezing, 32 degrees. Now, look at the high temperatures this weekend as well. That cold front arrives here in South Mississippi late on Friday. The day after Saturday, those high temperatures in the mid-50s. Sunday, we could work our way back into those upper 50s. But you can see that warming trend as we go into next week. If you're traveling for the holiday, well, it's going to be pretty cold at times. So make sure that heater in the car is definitely working, especially if you are traveling further north. Of course, that cold air is coming from the north, so further north will be just a little bit colder than that. Look at the futurecast temperatures as well. Friday morning, we're waking up in the low 40s. Some of us further inland may be seeing some upper 30s. And once that front arrives, once again, that's going to get here late on Friday. Well, we can see Friday afternoon temperatures honestly pretty nice. We're in the low 60s, mid 60s if you're closer to the coast, very similar to what we're seeing out there today. We get to late on Friday, well, that temperature starts falling very quickly as that front pushes through. Look at that, Friday night already seeing lots of areas in the mid to low 40s as you head into the late evening hours. Saturday morning, look at that, very, very close to freezing for lots of us here in South Mississippi. Further inland, a couple areas like Wiggins right at 32 degrees based on the current forecast, so that's right at freezing. Closer to the coast, we're seeing a lot of lower to mid 30s. Gulfport expected to hit around 33 degrees, just slightly above freezing, so And once again, it's going to be fairly breezy as well once that front moves through, especially the first few hours after we could see those winds gusting to around or a little bit above 20 miles per hour. And well, that can make that feels like temperature drop even more early Saturday morning. It might feel like it's in the just below freezing or maybe some upper 20s once again, especially if you're further inland. Let's keep going on the future cast here. You can see by Saturday afternoon, that temperature really does not climb very much. Most of us spend Saturday afternoon in the about low to mid 50s. Closer to the coast, you have a higher chance of seeing those middle 50s. But most of South Mississippi doesn't really get over 53, 52 degrees even. And then we keep going forward on Futurecast. By the time we get to Saturday afternoon, there you go. That's that high temperature for the day, right around 3 p.m., seeing right in about those mid-50s across a lot of South Mississippi. So looking at that 7-day forecast, of course, lots of travel going on. We have holidays, several different holidays, including Christmas. And, well, you see there that over the weekend, much colder than the past few days, high temperatures in the mid-50s. You're waking up in the 30s several days in a row, maybe some frost, possibly all the way to the coast. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But as you head into next week, we do get another warming trend into the area. High temperatures in the mid-60s by Tuesday. Cloud cover could begin to come back. Do have a higher chance of rain as we get towards the middle and end of next week. But look at that, those temperatures returning to the low 70s just in time for Christmas Day.